What's up, everybody? Hey, two shout-outs I wanted to make real quick before we get into the episode. Number one, Powertrain Tape sponsors this show. I also just received my care package from them today. Super excited. Can't wait to wrap my fingers up and choke some folks out. If you're into grappling or powerlifting, either one, if it's a sport where you're taping your fingers up, you got to check them out. It's www.powertraintape.com. And put all your items in the cart. When you go to the checkout, use the discount code FitFarm for 10% off. Now, the second thing, there's another guy, in the podcast world, they kind of tight, and we all talk amongst each other. And there's one in particular that I wanted to give a shout out to, especially because this episode is, geared more towards parents, actually. So people listening, if you have children, you really want to hear this episode. And this guy that I'm speaking of has his own podcast called the Pondering Father Podcast, and same thing, man, another dad like myself. He's doing his own thing, talks on tons of different topics, subjects, and just recently he was at the AFC Championship game. If you look on his website, he's got tons of pictures that he took while he was out there, and just an all-around nice guy. So if you're looking for another avenue, another person to listen to, there you go. Shout out to him. All right, guys, enjoy.
Welcome to FitFarm, a show dedicated to creating a better life through fitness and the grappling arts. I'm Joseph Aronson.
I'm Jackie Baker. It's time to get jacked.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. I have a special guest today. He's actually been on the show before. Welcome back. His name's Todd Ehrhardt. I almost got it wrong again.
You did.
I don't know why. We always
we
always go back and forth. And some people call him Ehrhardt or
Ehrhardt, like Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, and he's actually not related. So when you look at this, unfortunately, there's no relation.
But really, there's a relation down the line to Amelia Earhart.
Really?
No.
Oh. So it's Ehrhardt, not Ehrhardt. But I mean, okay, forgive me for always saying that wrong. I still we literally see each other like 3 times a week, text all the time, talk, and I will still get it wrong. I mean, that's how I am. It's just, I don't know. I'm not an English major, I guess.
Show you're special.
But since the last episode he was here, we actually started a kids self-defense program that we've been doing together, right out here at the farm. It's going great, having so much fun with it. I mean, Todd, what do you think about it? I mean, what's your analysis?
Well, it's I got to be honest, it's the highlight of my week. It adds a lot of value to my life, knowing that I'm adding value to these kids' life through self-defense and our empowerment talks. Because, we don't just teach technique. It's the psychological aspect behind it that I think a lot of gyms are missing.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's the thing. I've seen some other gyms in general, and it's just like bow in, technique, bow out.
Right.
And you want these kids, especially when they're younger and they're learning these things, you want them empowered, but you don't want them over empowered where they're using these techniques on someone that's not picking out or doesn't deserve it. Or
well, I think what benefits us versus these other gyms, why we're able to do this so well, is that we're not going for numbers. We're not trying to get 25 students. And trust me, I've coached 25 students by myself. It's very difficult to get that many kids organized enough and then have any kind of real discussion, because little Billy's acting crazy and trying to get your curriculum out there. So it ends up getting focused on just technique based, and it's hard to do that with so many kids, to where, because we're a small gym and we have a limited it's kind of exclusive if you really want to break it down, is because
we have a maximum that we can hit. Some gyms will take hundreds, they'll take on whatever. We have a number,
right? We
can't go over a certain number. There's just, it's not doable.
So 2 coaches for 10 kids, for the potential of our top number being 10, that's a lot of personal attention for each kid from you and I, and it gives us, and that more personal attention means these kids are going to pick up these techniques a lot quicker.
Yep.
Because we could spend time with each one of them. Hey, put your hand here, put your foot here, or this is how you do a jab. You know what? Rotate snap that hand out there a little bit more, or things like that. To where, when you have only 2 coaches and you have 25 students, it's hard to get that personal attention.
Yeah, you're glazing over some of them.
So when the kids are picking it up quicker, that means we have more time at the end to talk about the psychological sides of dealing with bullying, dealing with different situations, stranger danger, because it's just not bullying here. We talk about many different things besides just bullying or stranger danger. We're also talking about just how to be a good person, how to build your confidence up through martial arts.
Yeah, being empowered, having your confidence. I mean, that's why the shirts on the back say, "I can." We don't want any kids thinking that there's anything they can't do, right? I mean,
exactly.
That's huge, and I think that's a part of that society that's kind of going away with all the social media and the cyber bullying and all that. I think kids are having a harder time feeling empowered or feeling different because now they have access to, all these other people that are doing awesome things, and if you're not famous,
Well, instead of becoming an individual, it's almost becoming a conformity thing.
Yeah.
Well, little Michael is over there doing this, and he is quote unquote the cool guy, so I got to be like Michael. And so that's where, the individuality is lost, So when you go to school and you see these kids, they're all dressed the same, they all act the same, okay? Because they all want to be liked, and I understand that on some level, but they're really missing the boat is if you really want to make it, be an individual.
Yep. I think that's what a lot of these schools are missing too. Like we said, we're not here to bash any schools. The different approach we're taking is we're building the mental toughness too on top of the physical toughness. Right. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be you. That's actually what you want to be. I mean, as an adult, that's all we can be now,
The happiest day of, over my life, I've been an I can kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And I know you have been too. I mean, you own your own business, you're doing this podcast, you build your gym up here, So I think that's why we relate so well to each other.
Yeah.
But, and that's all the cool things that I've done in my life is because I have the mentality that I can do it, and I really don't care. I don't give a shit if you think I can't.
Yeah,
I'm going to do it whether, I'll be more than happy to prove you wrong,
Yeah.
And that's kind of why, through our talks at the end of class, that's why I say the things that I do, because these kids, they're so bombarded on all sides, especially now, because you and I didn't have social media when we were growing up, right?
Thank goodness, man.
God, man.
I mean, it's great, but I am so glad I didn't, because I don't know if I'd have finished school with that. There's so many distractions.
Well, I mean, just think about puberty and,
oh my
gosh, having a smartphone in your hand. Holy
God, that phone would be on fire. It'd be permanently plugged into the charger,
Yeah, exactly.
Dying.
So when you teach these ideologies, it really does make a difference. And I think you and I have seen it. I mean, if you look at BB1, we always give all our students nicknames just so kind of
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun thing. We call them BB1, or like my daughter's called the Hammer Fist, and Ryder's Rydenada.
Yep.
Because he's a great kid too. I've coached him for a long, long time in another school. But when you teach these things to these kids, it shows. I mean, what did BB1's dad tell you the other day?
Yeah. And by the way, BB stands for Bash Brother, so it's nothing bad. They go at it, man. It's so fun watching them because they're
rock'em sock'em robots.
It's like they walk in and they both have a leash on, and Master Let's Go, and these two are just they're bashing. It's awesome.
Let's go.
Let's do it. It's always go time. But yeah, like their dad said, he even said just within the few months he brought, I think, was it 3 failing grades he had?
Yeah.
All of them passing now.
Yeah, his grades are went up because of that dedication and perseverance that he's using in the gym.
Yeah, and the discipline he's getting taught, stand on that line. Sometimes the worst part is sometimes you got to be the tough guy, even though you want to laugh or you want to have fun with the kids. You're like, stand on that line, dude, and keep your arms at your side. Yeah. Just do it, and then that discipline you're teaching them carries over. Now he's passing in his classes, and he is so funny because BB2, the younger one, is like so excited about jujitsu and kickboxing. Oh, I can't wait to go to class, blah, blah, blah. And then the bigger brother's like, oh, man, I don't want to go. And then he comes, and he seems to have so much fun, you know. And the parents even tell us that. Like, dude, he doesn't want to come. And then as soon as he gets there, he has a blast. Well, he keeps that mentality. BB2 might catch up to him because he's so enthused, you know.
Those two, I swear, you know, because like the little brother, he's considerably smaller than his brother, his older brother. But he is like the in essence the saying, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. That little kid, man, he fights hard.
There's
no matter
who
he's going against.
Yeah, he's got one speed, right?
Yeah,
one gear.
It's
go.
fifth gear. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
we should change his name to Fifth Gear.
Yeah, really. BB2, aka Fifth Gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny watching them go at it, and he's like a sponge, man. He's been retaining everything. I mean, all these kids are. They the way they pick up on it, but he's so enthused, he's so into it that he can actually progress even more because he is working on it at home, you know, and he wants to grapple with his parents, and that's so cool.
Well, I do think that there's a testament to that, you know, that these kids are picking it up. I've seen these kids pick it up a lot quicker than any gym that I've ever coached at, just because I think we're going to go back to the personal attention that they get.
Yep.
You know, when you have just a few kids on the mat, I think that's a huge key, you know, and I think that's why they are. You know, it surprised me. I shouldn't say it surprised me. It was a proud moment, you know, when Bash Brothers, he really was hitting that, trying to get that arm bar, and he finally got it. And I was on Ryder, you know, and it was just like, yes, he's getting it.
Yeah.
You know,
so
because
awesome.
most kids, when you have them roll, they just do the whole, I'm going to wrestle you, and they don't try to get any techniques in. These kids are hitting.
They're finishing.
They're
right?
finishing. They're getting arm bars. They're getting key locks in. They're getting, you know, rear naked chokes in, you know, and that's like, man, these kids are like, I like totally see some of these kids really potentially competing in the future just because they're going for these techniques, unlike I've seen, because of that personal attention. I attribute all of it because of that personal attention.
Yeah, I mean, you try to get a private session with a coach or, you know, an instructor, and you're talking like, you know, anywhere from $50 to $100 an hour. And the size of these classes, it's like they're almost getting a private session every class. So it's a great package, great deal. I mean, the way that it's kind of working out for them.
Yeah,
so I like that. So anyways, sorry, we're going off on something here.
Getting off on a tangent.
Yeah, but so anyways, I wanted to talk about the bullying that we've seen in kids, you know, and kind of how it affects the whole day for them. You know, like let's say a kid wakes up to a cyberbullying, a message on Facebook or a text, and I don't think there's some parents that might not understand kind of how that affects their whole day, and then how that can snowball into like their whole life being affected, right?
Yeah, I definitely, you know, again, going back to social media, I mean, I have a 12-year-old son, and I don't want him on any social medias. I don't want him on there. He's not ready for that. I don't feel that a child of 12 needs to worry about what's going on Snapchat or on, you know, Instagram, or Snapchat isn't as nearly as bad, but like the social medias like Facebook, where bullying is running rampant, and on Instagram a little bit. Mm-hmm. But that being said, not telling anybody what to do with their kids, but, you know, if they're on social media, you need to monitor it. Yeah. You a couple of days a week, just say, hey, give me your phone. And look at their pages. See what's going on.
See what they're saying. See what people are saying to them, messaging them, right?
Right. See, and all that stuff. And, you know, we've had recently one of our students have that problem. And it has a huge effect on their day-to-day, especially because what happens is it turns into a snowball effect. Because like I said earlier, that, hey, Mikey's pretty cool, and he's bullying this kid, and I want to be like Mikey. So inadvertently, I'm going to start bullying this kid. So before you know it, you might have 3 or 4 or 5 people commenting on a picture or a post or something and being completely nasty to your son or daughter.
Yeah.
You know? And I I've seen it so many times. I mean, even as adults, let's just be honest here. Let's go on any social media page or any video or any picture.
Even people that are highly respected are getting it.
It's ridiculous. I mean, the way people talk to each other. If you're going to talk like that on social media to people that you don't know, odds are your kids are going to be doing it too.
Yeah, I mean, they're it's so funny because they're picking on professional athletes when an athlete has a bad day. It's like, this guy had a bad day. You don't have to rub it in his face, or they're picking on everyone. It's crazy. The stuff they say too is nasty, and you wonder.
Drama sells, baby. Drama sells.
Exactly. And you wonder why the kids pick it up, and then the kids are getting bullied all day, and then they get to the point where they're like, hey, I can't take this anymore. And you don't ever want to hear your kids say something like that. You want your child to.
Well, I mean, we've all heard it. We've all heard and seen, in the news, 12-year-old kills himself because of social media.
Are you kidding me?
Cyberbullying. 12 years old who has no idea what life is about killed himself because of the mob mentality on social media.
That's insane, isn't it? 'Cause thinking about it, I don't even remember half the kids' names from when I was 12, and they're, any of the rude ones or mean ones, they're a bunch of nobodies now, It's
I would meet you at the, it'd be more of a situation. I'm going to meet you under the jungle gym at lunchtime.
Yeah, dude. Like, okay, bring it. Like, all right.
It ain't like nowadays to where, there's that whole anonymity on social media to where I could say whatever I want to you because guess what? I'm on a computer and you can't do nothing to me.
Yeah, back then, dude, it was the closest thing you get is if you could get someone's phone number, you call their house phone and say something. But then, as long as you got,
you might get the parent.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, these kids who see each other all day at school. And then they go home and the bullying starts, and it's happening during out the school. So it's the same bully that's attacking your son or daughter on the internet is the same bully that's going to be attacking your child during class or out in the recess. And
now they've got 24 hours to keep it going.
So this is constantly a bombardment on a child. And what does that do? That obviously that kid's not going to build any kind of confidence to deal with the situation.
They can't even get away from it.
He can't get away from it. It's like getting hit with a sledgehammer over and over and over. The toughest person that can't handle that.
You're gonna break down eventually, man. That's kind of the big thing for me, man. I have 2 daughters, and I just hope if they get into social media, I hope it's later, and I hope we're talking years from now too. A lot can change from that. It might not even be Facebook. It might be something.
Be the new hot thing.
Yeah, it'll be whatever.
I mean, because what was our first social media experience? What was that? MySpace.
Yeah, that was awesome. You put your own song on your page. You know? Cool little background.
I had a page. I went on it like 3 times, and I was just like, I don't get it.
You put like your top 5 friends or your top 8. And Tom was always your friend, remember? Tom, the guy who made it. He's in the white T-shirt looking over his shoulder.
My first even Facebook, I was late to get into that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get it for the longest time, and then I'm like, okay, I get on it.
Yeah, it's kind of sad too that a lot of this, this is a different whole scenario, but a lot of business relies on your Facebook marketing and Instagram social media marketing, but and then you get to know the person who's actually doing this, and you're like, dude, like some of the people with hundreds of thousands of followers, you talk to them off of social media, and you're like, man, you're dumb, Like,
no,
not to be a bully, but
it is. I have met people, like I've had conversations with people on social media that I'm like, wow, you're a really interesting guy, and then you meet them in life, and it's just like, wow, you're like so dry. I mean, it's like, but then again, it's again, so look at the psychology behind that. So you're at home behind your computer, and you could be who you want to be.
It's all about image, and you can go.
So I could be confident typing on a keyboard, but when I go out into social public, and I get really apprehensive and nervous, and so that psychology on some level too works. For the bully situations, these cyberbullying situations, I could say whatever I want. I had a situation myself. This guy, a girl I knew in high school, she was complaining about something. She had something on her mind. She was obviously upset for what she was posting. And I'm like, you could have hit me up last night. I would have talked to you about it. Just being a friend. Yeah. Her husband gets on there and says, actually, somebody needs to get his ass kicked.
Jeez.
And I'm like, Okay.
I'm not trying to yeah, first of all.
What are you talking about? He goes, like, you over here trying to talk about it. I said, man, your wife's having some problems. I'm just a friend. I've known her since. He kept running his mouth. What he didn't realize is we lived on the same street.
Yeah. Dude, I come knock on your door.
I did. I went and knocked on his door, and he's like, his attitude obviously completely changed, and he's like, oh, man, I'm sorry. He goes, I didn't know the situation. My wife told me about it. I'm just like, yeah, okay. I got your number, man. It's like, you know, you're real tough and we're threatening to kick my ass on social media. Mm-hmm. But when I knocked on your front door because you live a block from me, you know, then you turn into this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the thing the kids need to understand is half these people doing this, they're just doing it because they're behind the computer. That's not the real person. You see them in person.
God, it's just disgusting to see the things I've seen. Yeah. You know, you really want to know what your child is? Definitely look at their social media, see what kind of stuff they're putting out there.
Yep.
But then again, that kind of segues into the next conversation, because as you know, I do a lot of bully talks. Mm-hmm. You know, I do several a month. You know,
at the church, at schools, right?
Yeah, and so usually in the first 5 minutes, I could tell which kids have good parental structure at home and which kids don't.
Who's going to be a tough run, right? This is going to be a tough go.
I have. You know, I'm always a polite guy when I deal with kids because you have to be. You know, got to be patient. But you know, there are certain kids that I've had numerous times that I don't know them outside of here, and they only know me as the guy that talks here. You know, and I'll be like, all right, man, you need to move over here. Can you move over here, please? No. And of course, I got to put on my man voice, and they'll still look at me like, who are you to tell me? So, but if you think about that, as a child, I would never look at an adult in a situation to where I'm at a school-like setting and just be blatantly disobedient.
Yeah, disrespectful.
I'd be like, okay. Especially after I would get curt with them, get stern with them.
Yeah.
They'd still be obstinate. Mm-hmm. If they're doing that to a complete stranger, what are they learning at home?
That's where I was hoping you were going with that. I mean, a lot of this starts right at home before they even leave the house in the morning.
Because let's just be honest here, a lot of bullies are bullies because of some kind of reason, right? They have a reason why they're a bully.
Usually it's confidence, you know, a lot of it, you know.
It ain't the kids don't wake up today and say, "Hey, I'm gonna be a little asshole." Let's just be honest.
To be a bully,
man. I'm gonna kick little Jimmy's ass at the playground today. He doesn't have any idea. I know we played yesterday, but today is different.
Today's a Monday. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah. So a lot of times, through my experiences, a lot of time people become bullies. These kids become bullies because they have problems at home. Maybe they're not getting the structure they got. Maybe they, you know, I know one little boy. I feel bad for him because he is a bully. So he's very mean to kids. But you know, he lost his mom.
Yeah, that's
to
tough.
A significant illness, and his dad's. I think he lost his dad too, or his dad's not in his picture. So he lives with his aunt and uncle. Yeah. You know, that poor kid. The psychological damage that he's got going on, and if he's not getting the help, how is he ever gonna change? So, or let's look at another scenario why somebody bullies. Well, sometimes they're getting bullied themselves from somebody else. Mm-hmm. So it manifests in the frustration, and so they do what they know, and they're going to do it to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know?
The only thing they know, right? It's all I know is bully and be bullied or get bullied.
That being said, it isn't, despite their sad story or the story that's creating this, it's not up to my son, my son and daughter, your daughters, whoever else's kid. It's not their responsibility
to just take it.
Take it.
Yeah.
You know, well, you know what? He's had a rough life, so I better just shut up and take these punches to the face or these ugly words that they're saying to me, you know?
My parents are nice to me, so go ahead and kick my ass, okay?
Yeah. So it's a really sad state of thing, and like we said earlier, we're not really, I don't want to bash schools.
No.
But and I'm not, and I don't mean to say this to be bashing a school, but the problem is the zero tolerance rules that a lot of schools have really put a lot of power into the bully's hands.
Yeah, because you can't fight back.
Yeah,
right?
Because you can't. Well, you're not supposed to fight back. Well, because if you guys fight, you're going to get expelled, and of course, if you get expelled, both of you are going to get expelled. obviously the good kid who's getting the kid's getting bullied, he doesn't want to get expelled. He's just trying to go there to go to school and learn. The guy who's doing the bully, he obviously doesn't care about the rules, and he's going to do what he wants to do anyway. He doesn't care if he gets expelled.
Yeah.
So he's going to use that to his advantage. I'm going to say whatever I want to you because I know you won't do anything about it because you're afraid to get expelled.
Yep. And you'll see there's videos online. You see kids pushing, the bully pushing and pushing and pushing the other kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, the kid can't, the kid that's being bullied really can't fight back, because,
because he wants to do what's right.
Yeah,
he's being told that he can't defend himself. I had a situation with a teacher last year that the teacher was using fear on the kids to keep them from fighting, saying if you fight, we are going to call the police and you will be arrested. You're going to tell a fifth grader that?
Arrest them? Yeah.
So what does that translate to? If I defend myself, I'm going to go to jail.
Yeah, so let this guy push you around.
So let this kid do whatever he wants, say whatever he wants to me. Well, obviously, I had a problem with that, being, a martial arts coach and a anti-bullying coach. I went to the school the next day and I had a really long conversation about the situation. Because, moreover, using the police as a fear, number one, that's wrong on two different levels. One, it teaches the kid that, hey, I can't fight back because I'm going to go to jail. And what else does it do? It creates a fear of police.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be our friends.
They're
there to help us.
They're the good guys. But let's just be honest here. If you look at social media right now, for the last year, the police are the devil. The police are our enemies.
They're painting the picture, right? Social media is, and that's another thing too. The videos you see, you're only seeing like the last 5 seconds where the cop shoots the guy. You're not seeing the 20 minutes before where the guy, pointed his gun at the officer or this or that.
Right.
And we're, like you said, they're demonizing the police. Oh, we're going to call the police and they're going to take you away. It's like the police are your friend. They're public service. They work for the public. Like they're
right.
Oh, you're giving these kids a bad understanding of police because most police officers, any I've ran into, we've trained with a ton at different gyms. They're all super nice, super cool dudes. Like I don't get where the bad, the demonizing of them comes from, really.
Yeah, well,
one bad apple.
That's a whole nother podcast. We can get into that.
Yeah, we won't go into that.
We won't go into that today because then we'll be
here for a few hours. We have to make this a two-parter.
Yeah, no kidding. But getting back to the bullying with these kids is so, like you said, not every situation at school requires a physical response.
Oh.
So if you have a kid that's consistently talking nasty to you, it's not necessarily the prudent thing or the right thing to do. Just walk up to him and punch him in the face,
right?
Even though that's what you want to do. So we've devised some situations on how to teach these kids on what to say and how to act and things like that. And sometimes not respond to it. Like I love giving the example, if you're walking down the hallway and a kid said something nasty to you, you don't have to stop.
Yeah, keep walking.
You just keep on walking. Hey, you know what? Okay. You just keep wearing that smile. Hold your head up high. Show confidence.
Yep. Act like you didn't even hear it, too, half the time, right? Just keep smiling, keep walking.
Because let's just be honest here. Bullies prey on victims. They prey on the weak, okay? Just like a hyena is going to go try to get the weakest gazelle, right?
Mm-hmm. Or an injured one.
Or an injured one, right? Oh, man, that thing's got a bad leg. Let's take him down. Same thing with kids. A bully wants to go after the kid that knows he's not going to be a problem and he could get away with it, right? Little Billy, I could do or say whatever I want to him because he won't do nothing about it, okay? So what does that translate to? They're going to pick on the kid that's not confident in themselves. The kid that is maybe even a little quiet, maybe he's not quiet, but maybe he just won't do anything. He'll know. He'll test those waters out, and he'll do it. And I've seen it over and over where once these kids become more confident in themselves and start believing that they can, it's like the bullies realize they don't have an effect on them. And they move on to the next victim.
Yep. See, I gotta find a new victim, right?
Right. So to sit here and say that there's one way to deal with a bully would be it would be wrong to say because
numerous scenarios, right?
Numerous. It's like a fingerprint. There's so many different variations of how you could be attacked. Most of them, 95% of bullying is not physical.
Yeah, just words.
It's just words. And the only time we get words have power only if we give them that power.
Yeah, only if we care what that person thinks.
Exactly. And through, but there are other things you could like through confidence say, hey, you're not going to talk to me like that. I don't like it. And I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, whoa. It could potentially be like, whoa, right? Hey.
Step back. Yeah. Take a step back.
Maybe this ain't the guy I want to mess with. I'm going to go with somebody who's not going to fire back at me.
Uh-huh.
And when I say fire back, I don't mean fight evil with evil. So if I sit here and say, hey, Joey, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
And if you call me an asshole back,
that's not effective. Now we're both bullies.
it's now it becomes a different senorio altogether.
Yeah.
But if you just let that person know, hey, I'm not that guy. I'm not going to play this game with you.
Mm-hmm.
9 times a lot of times it might diffuse it right there.
Yep.
Yep. Another thing we also talk about with these kids is telling, not tattling, telling. The difference between tattling is if you're getting bullied by Mikey and I got to go run and tell, that's not the situation. That person needs to deal with it. So when I say tell, you got to tell your parents, tell your teacher, tell the lunch lady, tell the people out on the playground watching you.
You have to make them aware because they don't know. I mean,
right.
There's hundreds of kids around. They don't know what this one child's doing unless you say something, right?
And the experience I've had with many students that I've dealt with when talking about this is a lot of times they say, well, the lunch lady said, they just say ignore it. Well, you can't just ignore it.
Mm-mm.
But here's the thing. After you told the teachers, after you told the principal, after you told all these different people, what you're really doing is you're laying down groundwork.
Yeah, you're filing the police report ahead of time.
That's what you're doing, saying, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. So if it ever does get physical, your parents could say, you know what? We've had conversation with you, Miss Principal. I've had conversations with you, teacher, about this issue that my daughter or son has been having.
Yep. Yeah, we built the groundwork. I mean, we complained X amount of times about this bullying, and now look what happened because you ignored it, right? Because you guys ignored the situation.
Right. You guys, this happened on your property.
Yeah,
my son my son or daughter came to school and they were getting harassed day in, day out. We had conversations with you and you did nothing about it, and then you wonder why it went to physical altercation.
Yeah, and that puts the blame back on the school instead of on the kids, which is where it should be, because
I'll be honest with you. If my son or daughter stood up to a bully, legitimately stood up to a bully, did what they were supposed to do, and told the teacher, and the principal tried to get my son or daughter in trouble, you know what I'd do? I'd walk in there, give my son a high five, and then go take him for ice cream.
Yeah,
saying good job. You weren't somebody's doormat.
But especially if they took all the right steps. I mean, at that point, it's on the principal, it's on the teacher. It's not on your child. They did all the right moves. I mean,
exactly.
You can only take so much. Period.
Yeah, so, sometimes it does have to, I shouldn't say have to, but sometimes it does lead to a physical altercation, because really what it comes down to is, as a parent, I cannot fix all my sons and daughters' situations, bully situations, if they were to arrive. Same thing with you. You can't, parents, we can't walk around making sure our kids are in a bubble.
Yeah, we can't hang out at school with them all day.
So what do? We teach them how to be confident individuals, confident enough to take care of these situations themselves. Because that's really what it comes down to, is every kid is responsible for themselves. And they are the ones, 9 times out of 10, they are the ones that have to stop the bully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because no matter, a kid's already shown that he's not following the rules. So if the teacher or the principal says, well, you know what, you're in detention because you've been bullying. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah,
or
cool.
whatever.
Right.
Your
parents aren't going to be mad at you. Hopefully they'll understand the situation, and you're going to do your time, your hour detention or whatever, and there you go. At least you're not getting bullied anymore. Right?
Well, in some situations, whether it's a stranger or not a stranger, there's a story that I like to tell kids about using familiarity to stop a bully situation.
Yeah.
Okay, I use this story a lot in my talks. And basically, the story goes, I was out with a friend of mine. I was at a small little bar.
Mhm.
It wasn't even very late. It was probably only 8:30, 9 o'clock because, I'm old and I don't go out late. And we were just there having a good time. My buddy was talking to this girl, and I was sitting there. We were just having fun, and 3 guys walked in. Well, training martial arts and being a bouncer for 3 years and all that, you kind of learn situational awareness. Now, mind you, I take the whole bar situation out for these kids. So I create another situation. Say
Yeah,
we were just
dinner or
we were out, I was out with a friend, and this is what happened. I take the whole bar scenario. So these 3 guys were looking at me like I'm their target tonight.
Yeah.
I'm a bigger guy, bald head, at the time goatee again still, and I don't know what it is. It was like they wanted to go for the biggest guy in the room.
They want to try their luck. It's how it always is.
Right. So I look at my buddy and I said, "Are you ready to fight?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Because he was so wrapped up in talking to this girl.
Yeah, whatever.
So I'm married at the time and I didn't care. But so he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I told him what was going on. And about 2 minutes go by and he's like, "Oh my God, Todd, you're right. They're looking at you like pit bulls would look at a steak." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And so finally it was on. One of the guys is walking towards us, and his eyes are locked on me, and I knew it was imminent. This guy is coming over. The look on his face told me everything that I needed to know.
Yeah, it's on.
It's on. But as he's walking closer, I start smiling more and more and more and more. And as soon as he got close enough, I said, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? What's up, buddy?" And he's like, instantly, his face was like, yeah. I said, "Man," I haven't seen you in years. I said, "Geez, man." I goes, "What has it been?" I said, "It's been at least 15 years. I said, "The last time we were at that girl's house. We were having there was that party. I made this whole fictitious story up." And he bought into it. He's smiling. You shake his hand. I said, "Man, you got a drink?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "I got one over there." He said, I go, "Man, it was really good to see you." And he ends up walking away. And my buddy looks at me and goes, "Did you really know him?" And I'm like, "No, I don't know him. I don't know him at all. I just don't want to fight."
Yep. Diffuse the situation.
Diffuse the situation through familiarity. Because let's just be honest here. Any fight, physical altercation, is 99.9% over ego.
Yes.
Okay? It's very rare. I mean, I say it's rare, but it does happen to where it becomes to a situation to where, somebody who's just a blatant aggressor.
Yeah.
They're just coming and they want to fight somebody, like that guy came to me, wanting to fight. I didn't want to feed into his ego, so I created this fictitious story.
Yep.
And diffuse the situation by using familiarity. Now, that being said, kids could use that same familiarity to diffuse bully situations at their school.
Yeah. No doubt. Yep.
And I'm not saying, hey, man, do you remember back in the womb? I remember you, or, remember in the you can't do
the
that.
Hospital we were
you
born.
can't, because you're young, because they're like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. So, but how does it, like, say if somebody was to say, "Hey, Todd, nice shirt. Man, that thing is such a dorky shirt." "Yeah, I know. My mom bought this shirt." You know how moms can be, right? Moms buy us some of the ugliest things, and she made me wear it today. I didn't want to wear this shirt, And then he'd be like, "Okay, you used a little humor and you a little familiarity, because even on some level, that guy's like, you know what? Yeah,
my mom does that too.
My mom does that. I remember when my mom used to dress me just exactly like my younger brother." And that was some dumb ass shit.
Man. Yeah.
So there's, like I said, what we said earlier, that there's no bully situation that's exactly the same.
Yeah.
There's different ways that you can negotiate each one of them, and I think you and I do a really good job of illustrating this and really doing these training, these verbal, psychological training with these kids, to where they don't have to use the technique, because we both told them, all these kids, 100 times, we teach you guys in the hope that you never ever ever have to use it. That's the last resort.
Yeah.
Putting somebody in an armbar, or
choke,
punch or punching, because obviously we're not just doing jiu-jitsu. We do a lot of stand-up stuff too, striking. But that's the last resort stuff. You don't always have to beat somebody up to prove your point. Like I said, that comes to an ego. A lot of times, even in the bully situation, it does come down to egos being hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I think our template and our program is pretty solid because of how we approach it through the psychological training and building confidence, not just through physical activity, but through mental training as well.
Yep, and so that way they know each situation, And speaking of our template, we have a couple of kids there that you're extremely familiar with, and I'm kind of wondering how that contrast is for you, because two of them are yours actually. You have your daughter and your son are there, and I'm wondering what it's like coaching them versus coaching kids that new kids that you don't know.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yes.
All right. I think I love coaching my kids. I always have. I've done it for a long, long time, even before you and I.
Even helping out at gyms they were at before, right?
Yeah,
and all the time. I mean,
right.
Yeah,
and because it's on one level, it's a cool thing to where one day my son or daughter could grow up and say, hey, you know what? My dad taught me how to defend myself. My dad taught me how to do these different things, and I'm confident in doing them. But on the other side of it is they're my kids, and they want to look at me as dad on the mat sometimes. But I've told them many times that when you're on the mat, I'm your dad, but I'm not your dad, if that makes sense.
I'm Coach Todd on these mats.
Because they've both said to me, well, it seems like you're harder on me than you are other students. I'm like, because I expect more from you.
Yeah, and you've been doing this a little longer, right? So give me a little bit, sure.
Yeah, so I treat them. I don't play favorites, especially because I can't have that. I cannot have some other parent or some other student come up to me, and say, you're playing favorites with your kids. So that's why I might be a little bit tougher on them. And
honestly, it's probably helping them anyways. You being tougher on them is making them work harder too, right?
Yeah, and Sully, he has come so far since I think you and I have been working with him. I've seen that spark in it because he's been doing it for so long, and that spark was kind of gone for it. And I've seen things. I mean, you've even said to him, "Hey, I think it's time for you to compete," and I think you're probably right.
Yep.
But again, part of me, I don't want to force him into that. I want to make sure that's his decision.
Yeah, let him know he's ready whenever he wants to.
Right, and give him that opportunity because I do think he wants to do it. I've taken him to tournaments and he's seen his buddies do it, and he'd get all excited, and especially after he saw his dad do it, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to do this." So maybe it might be time to sign him up for one just to see how he does. See if he wants to do
and you be right in the corner with him too.
Yeah,
that's
buddy.
Awesome. That's pretty cool.
Two coaches yelling at him.
Yeah, it is.
So, but yeah, it's been a joy of my life to be able to share my knowledge with my children. But then again, I think because you're fairly new to coaching kids, and I'm gonna share something with the power that a coach has on a kid is amazing. I mean, look at Bash Brother 2. I mean, every time at the end of class, he gives us both hugs.
Yeah,
man.
oh yeah.
Sneaks
that in there every time.
So, like, when my son was at another school and I was an assistant coach and the head coach was going off to college, my son held it together. And when we got into the car, he started crying because he was going to miss his coach.
Austin, right?
Yeah, Austin. Yep. Yeah. Great kid. Love that kid. Great kid. He's a man now.
Yeah,
but
he's in his 20s now. But yeah.
But hey, I'm 42. If you're 20, you're a kid.
Yeah, pretty much.
But even when I left that gym, I had kids hugging me and crying because they're going to miss me. And I miss them. And so when a kid comes to work with us and you create this bond of teaching them this stuff, it's inevitable you're going to get an emotional connection to all these kids. So the first time that this happens, when a kid leaves you or you can't, or you're going to have to leave them, you're going to find, man, there's like a piece of you that's like, my gosh,
really bummed out.
That kid really had an impact on me. You don't realize it at the time, but then you're like, man, I miss that little turd nugget.
Yeah. That little butthole. Come on, get out of here, you little jerk.
Exactly.
But yeah, I know what you mean exactly, dude. Because I mean, even now, like you said, at the end of class, it's real cool. You know, you get the high five from him, and then all of a sudden you get the hug, and you're like, you little. Okay, come on.
Yeah, even though I just yelled at you for messing up earlier, and I was like, well, let me paraphrase that. You're acting a fool in the gym, and sometimes. Well, like you said earlier, sometimes we gotta be stern with them.
Yep.
Because that's part of discipline training too.
Yep. And now then he hugs you and you're like, I feel bad now. You know.
I don't, Joe. It's called tough love.
Yeah. You'll figure it out, kid. No.
Exactly.
So switching gears up here, dude. Now that we've kind of talked about all of our coaching things and everybody else, let's talk about yourself. Do you have any personal goals or achievements, resolutions for 2018? It's still January, so.
Yeah. Well, I don't really like to. I've always been very highly goal oriented. No matter what I'm doing in life, whether
no
it's
matter
fitness
what time of year.
or that time of year, I don't really like the whole resolution term because it's like, not everybody and their brother says resolution, and then 3 weeks later, hey, what happened to that resolution? I tripped, and I stubbed my toe, and
I forgot.
I forgot.
I bumped my head and forgot about it.
Right. So, it's interesting. A lot of your listeners don't know. I am technically disabled. My hip is 10 kinds of jacked up. I got a computer in my back that that helps block the pain that I'm in 24/7. That being said, I don't use that as an excuse to sit on the couch. Long ago, probably 8 or 9 months ago, I told my doctors to keep their pain medication because I was gaining weight from them. And it makes me lazy. And because I'm a firm believer that pain medication does not take away pain, it just makes you not give a shit about it.
It masks. It doesn't fix anything.
I'm high as shit, sitting on the couch, watching TV, eating freaking chips.
Junk,
And that's what happened, But then I'm like, what? I don't want to do this. I'd rather be in pain and be a good father and have my wits about me. Because being a good parent also means taking care of yourself, meaning health-wise. Okay,
be a good example.
And I've been, health and wellness and weightlifting has always been a huge part of my life. I started working out when I was, I think, 21, and here I am almost 43, and I never stopped. Yeah. Half my life I've been working out. I've been in the top of the mountain. I've achieved some pretty cool things in fitness, and I had a pretty hard fall. I was in the best shape of my life, and this birth defect finally reared its naked head and caused a lot of issues and left me in a position to where, walking is a challenge.
You're starting all over again, pretty much, right?
I've started. I don't know if I necessarily would say starting over, because even still, I had a foot up. Still in pretty good shape for being broke. But then because I've continued to work out, but not super consistent throughout this. But I would say over the last 8 months, 9 months since I got off of those pharmaceuticals, that I've hit it fairly hard.
You've had to modify your workouts too.
Oh,
obviously.
Man, my workouts are all modified. You see me doing a stand-up exercise, I'm standing on one foot, for crying out loud. What's that animal? Stork or whatever that stands on one foot?
Yeah.
Flamingo in it. So my goal here is to continue trying to be healthy, but moreover, I've been kicking around the idea to preface this. I at one point had a bench I benched over 400 pounds. I had a 405 bench, and I was working to do a powerlifting meet with a great trainer, friend of mine, Josh Lurch. Dude's a monster. If you guys know this man, he is just a monster. He tweaked my form and everything, and he got my bench up over 405. Well, he helped me. It's just insane amount of weight. But the way I've been approaching my workouts lately, and because I'm limited on how active I could be every day because of my hip, I'm like in a position to really put on some serious muscle because I work out. Though my workouts aren't what they used to be, they're still very intense. And I go home and rest.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't really walk anymore anyway, so I'm just resting and eating. And
You've got plenty of time for recovery.
So
right?
my recovery, even though they say that, in your 40s, your recovery time, or even in your 30s, recovery time is a lot longer than it is in your 20s. I remember back in the day, 25 years old, pound out a killer, really, really hard workout.
And go work 12 hours.
and then, yeah. But, so I've had like some very interesting strength gains that I really wasn't trying to do. You know what I mean? So I've been kicking around the idea of trying to get my bench back up to 405 just to do it. And it's interesting because it's hard because your bench starts with feet placement and creating that solid base.
Solid. Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking. A solid base. Do you have to do it with your feet on the bench now, or how do you?
No, I have my feet still flat on the floor. I don't have them on the balls of my feet like I used to when I benched heavy to create that little arch in the back.
Yep.
So I'm pretty much flat-footed, and I can't really put a whole lot of pressure. I can't dig in with my left side at least. So it becomes a lot of core work. The core works twice as hard to keep that bar stable.
Which is actually cool because core strength is so important. So there you go. One way, force it, right?
Yeah, force it. So, one day I just had a hair of my butt, and I was like, okay, I want to see what I could bench. I already, because my chest routine there's a lot of volume there. I've told you before, and it's just like, oh, who does that?
High value.
But it's just like, I respond well to it. So why
do it if it works,
mess
right?
with it, right? Yeah. So I threw on I ended up hitting 315 fairly easy, which is very respectable.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know very many 42-year-olds that could do 315.
Yeah, 3 plates on each side. No, that's a lot, dude.
So the following week, actually I've done this twice since then. I'm like, okay, well, how many times can I bench 225? Just to see what I did. And
do your little NFL combine.
Yeah,
right?
my little thing. I ended up getting 25 reps of 225.
That's a ton.
That's
insane.
Lot. And I was like, man, I've never been able to do this.
No, usually 10 or something is it, right?
The most I've ever done was 20.
Okay.
So it was like my early 30s. My early 30s, but yeah, 5 more than that. It's still quite a bit. And I'm 10 years older.
Yeah.
And I've never really, I don't know. It's just kind of a byproduct of the way I've been training, which means to me that I'm doing something right. So that's kind of why I've kind of been kicking around the idea of hitting 405 again, just to see if I can. I guess. And I shouldn't say that way because I can if I really want to. I know.
Well, remember, we're empowering people.
I am empowering people, but I haven't. But what I'm saying is, I haven't had put that stamp on it yet. I haven't had put the stamp on. This is what I'm going to do. Right now, I'm just trying to stay healthy. I'm still trying to stay strong. To be, like I said, to be a good example for my kids. Because my kids have, seen a lot more than a lot of kids have seen growing up.
Man.
They watched my wife battle cancer. That's like one of those problems you cannot hide from your kids, because my wife ended up having multiple surgeries. Why does mom keep having surgeries on her chest? Well, this is what's going on.
Yeah, eventually you just have to tell them.
And then the battles that I've been having, because through my multiple surgeries, they saw their dad going from highly active to almost
Gimpy Ninja.
To Gimpy Ninjas. Yeah, my shirt right now, for those of you that cannot see me, says Gimpy Ninja on it. Made by my friend Annette. And Gimpy Ninja, I made this shirt to bring humor to an otherwise sad situation. Because like my business is called Life's Adventure, because life is an adventure, and so I look at life like that and try not to take it too seriously. So I have to do this. So I have to make light of it so it doesn't affect my kids. Because if I'm at home feeling sorry for myself every day, are my kids going to grow up to be empowered?
No, they're
probably not.
They're going to, yeah, if you don't have the attitude you have with the I can and still moving forward, they're going to look for excuses to not be able to do things too, right?
Right. And I think, to preface this, if you're listening to this podcast is probably why me and Joey work so well together. Joey does all the ground stuff. Joey does all the heavy jiu-jitsu stuff, and I do all the standing up stuff. You know, we work so well together. It's like two different puzzle pieces. They both have importance.
Puzzle pizza sounds good.
Pizza.
My ears perked up. Pizza? Sorry.
We're not bad guys.
No, not at all, man. This is not Fat Farm.
But no, to create that big picture, you got to have puzzle pieces, and I think to where my weaknesses are, that's where you pick up, and where your weaknesses are, I pick up.
Yep.
Exactly. I'm probably a little bit more versed in the stand-up stuff than you are, and you're a heck of a lot more versed on the ground stuff and physically able to do that.
Yeah, to demonstrate, the technique.
So it works out pretty good. So, like I said, like you said, the I can mentality, I think you have to have that in order to make your kids become the adults you want them to be. Yeah. Because here's the problem, right? To preface, to say this is a lot of parents, what does every parent tell their kid? Hey, do whatever you want to do in life. Follow your dreams. Go after the things you want. And then you know what? I have to be responsible. I'm a dad, so I'm going to ignore all my dreams.
Yeah, I'm just going to go work 8 hours and then complain about my job, right?
Right. So instead of doing that, show them how to go after their dreams by going after yours. You can still be a responsible parent.
Yeah, you can still pay your bills. We get that.
When, there was I wanted to get in the best shape of my life. But because I was coaching my kids in the afternoon, that doesn't leave a whole lot for my workouts.
Yeah.
So I would get up at 4 a.m. and do that and go do my workouts. Okay. Yeah. And sometimes you might have to lose a little bit of sleep to do the things you want to do in life. So if that means you get up at 4 a.m. and you pursue your dream of become a filmmaker or pursue your dream to make music or pursue your dream, it doesn't matter. Insert hobby here that you want to be good at or passion here. Mm-hmm. If you want it bad enough, you're gonna fucking find a way to do it.
Yep.
Don't hide behind, well, I'm a dad and I got to do this. Bullshit. Yeah, you can still do. You can find time if you want it.
Yeah, we're both dads. We're here.
Yeah, we're doing it.
We do it every day. I mean, no matter what. Like you said, some days are harder than others, but.
Yeah,
your want for it has to outweigh your excuses, right?
It's simple. I can, and that's the mentality you got to approach to it, and not give a shit about what anybody thinks.
Yep.
As long as you're doing what you're meant to do, and you're not hurting anybody, and you're following your dreams, who cares? Because, like I said, you can do everything 100% right, 100% correct. Somebody's still going to talk shit.
Somebody's still, yeah. You're still going to have the haters out there. I mean, it's normal. So speaking of chasing your dreams, last thing I wanted to touch on was your dream, life's adventure, the thing you've been working on for a while now.
Right.
Filmmaking, designing. I mean, you're making logos, you're making animations. It's all awesome. Kind of what I don't know if you can give everybody kind of a breakdown of everything you're doing with that.
Well, it's probably to back it up a little bit. How really the animation part of this came into play is. With all my injuries and my surgeries, instead of just sitting on the couch and watching TV every day, I decided to educate myself. I used it as an opportunity to learn a new skill because I already started doing video work before that. But this opportunity that was given to me, I looked at it as an opportunity. I'm going to expand my knowledge on filmmaking, and I'm going to expand my knowledge on animation. Actually, I didn't really expand it. I started it.
Yeah.
I started doing it.
You went from I think you had nothing on animation when you started, right? You were
nothing.
I mean, you've always been into photography, right?
Photography and video making and stuff like that before it started with scuba diving years ago.
Yeah.
And
animation's just brand new, right?
I'm like, well, I'm sitting on I can't move.
I'm sitting on your butt either way.
I'm sitting on my butt no matter way. I might as well learn a new skill.
Yeah, and you were putting probably what? I mean, you were making that your full-time job. Learning that, right?
I have, intermittent breaks, quite a few breaks actually. Just do it until it hurt too much. Because even now, after my last surgery was middle of last year when they put the computer in my back.
Yeah.
I still can't sit behind the computer for too long. I get about 3 hours. I take a break for a while, and then I go back a little bit later and do a little bit more. And then, it's because I have a passion for it and I have a hunger for it.
Yeah.
So I really, whenever I have a moment to where I'm not hurting so bad, I'll go get in front of that computer. So I turned it into business to where it's moving slow, but it's building up steam slowly. People are starting to recognize my animations mostly, and some of my film work.
Isn't that crazy? Because you've been doing the photography part for the longest, and then you started creeping into the animation. Now people are picking you up from your animations, saying, "Oh, you do photography too?" It's like, yeah, I've been doing the photography in filmmaking for years. The animation is my new thing.
Yeah, I would say I'm a filmmaker that knows how to do really good animation, and I try not to push photography too much, though I'll do some gigs here and there.
It can be physically demanding too, right?
Yeah, like I've been asked, I don't know how many times to do 2 weddings. I'm like, I can't do weddings. I can't stand for that long, and there's better people. I'm like, I've referred several people to my friend Emily. She's great at it. No, so it's been slowly building up. I do, logo animations and promotional videos, things like that nature. I just did one for a guy who started a Kickstarter. He makes barbecue sauce.
I saw that one. Yeah, that was good.
I really enjoyed making that one. I gained like 10 pounds.
I bet you did. And the filming process, weird, huh?
Yeah, it's like 3 day. It was a 3-day shoot.
I'm sure.
3-day shoot, and this dude was making barbecue every day. Barbecue ribs, pulled pork, brisket. Oh my God, I was like eating so much protein.
Good too.
I was like, oh man, gosh, so this dude knows what he's doing, because he also does barbecue competitions. But I created this Kickstarter video, and he hit his mark, and a lot of that has to do with my video. Okay, so
quality. You get the quality out there. It's going to bring people in, because that's people that don't understand that about marketing. If you have an awesome product, but you don't have a way for people to see it,
right?
You're gonna miss the mark.
Yeah. So that's my dream, is to use that as a little bit of a supplement, because like I said, I can't go get a full-time job.
No.
I just couldn't stand on my feet for that long.
Or sit.
I can't even sit. They had the whole sedentary thing, and they're like, well, can you sit behind a desk for 8 hours? No, even my doctor says I can't.
Maybe an hour or something for
but it's depending on the chair, really. Like, there's certain restaurants I just can't go to anymore because of how hard their seats are. I spent a lot of money on my computer chair. It's a $300 computer chair, and that gives me about 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Like these chairs you got in your office, I'm sitting here. It's starting to burn. It's hurting pretty bad right now. I'm not gonna lie. So, but no, that's my passion. Is helping people get their vision to their social media pages.
Get recognized too, right? I mean,
a group that I belong to. You see, obviously you can see a lot of my stuff on my social media page called Life's Adventure. But another page you can see a lot of my work on is Warrior Scuba Project. I'm an admin on that page, and I am in charge of creating all their content. It's a page that works with veterans in scuba diving, and I'm their social media guy, and I post stuff on there daily to generate their traffic and get, obviously people get their page aware and get their organization aware. So you can see a lot of my work on that. Also, MDK Bates, I'm going to give them a shout out. Yeah. He's a good friend of mine that I've helped him with his social media page, helped him with his web release. If you go on his website, mdkbates.com, pretty much everything on there I created. And lifesadventureonline.com, another little shameful plug.
Yeah. How about Instagram? Where can everybody see you on there?
It's my name, Todd Ehrhardt, and there's other parentheses on it. It's Life's Adventure.
Okay.
I'm trying to do something a little bit different by creating an awareness of kind of creating that popular, hey, that Todd Ehrhardt guy from Life's Adventure instead of Life's Adventure, there's a guy at Life's Adventure, Todd Ehrhardt. You know what I mean? It's kind of just a little psychological different thing.
Yep.
Like one of the gurus of animation is Andrew Kramer. The guy, through his tutorials and his what YouTube page and all that, you know, everybody knows that name, Andrew Kramer. They know he is from Video Copilot, but the name has more power than the actual Video Copilot name, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
you know the guy behiing Video Copilot, right?
Right. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do.
That adds a personality to it too.
Right. So I'm adding personality. So I'm slowly turning the page to be a little bit more personal, to put some of my personal stuff in there, and besides just cool animations.
Yeah, no doubt. No, that's a good idea. I like that. Yeah, because that works out good. Okay. Was there anyone else you wanted to plug while we're on here, or anything you wanted to touch on?
No. That's pretty much it, man. It's been like I said, Life's Adventure is my baby, but really that's how I look at life. And if we ever really had a conversation about things that I've done in life, that's why I named it Life's Adventure.
It's an
because
adventure.
That's what it is, man. So, but
nice.
yeah, that's it.
Cool.
It's the ABCs and me, baby.
Yeah, so you guys can find Todd on Facebook and Instagram. Todd Ehrhardt. The name will be actually in spelling will be in the bio of this too.
Yeah.
So
not Ehrhardt or Earnhardt.
He's not a NASCAR driver. And then if you haven't yet, subscribe, leave us a rating and a review, and tell your friends. And we're on Instagram at FitFarm Podcast and at MonkeyJoeBJJ. And Facebook, we are Fit Farm Illinois and Joseph Aronson. So, all right, thanks everybody for listening.
Don't forget FitFarm Empowerment Kids Club. Facebook page. This is a band league. We might as well plug our own Facebook page.
The whole kids program we've been talking about is at FitFarm IL Kids Empowerment, right?
Yep.
And that's on Facebook as well. And also Jackie, the sometimes co-host of this show, at JackFit1. So
JackFit.
Yeah, with the one because someone already has JackFit, I guess.
She cracks me. I love your girl, man.
She's funny.
Like the intro that everybody's going to hear. It's time to get jacked.
She hates I make fun of her for that. All right, guys, we're out of here. Bye-bye.